Hey everyone, it's Erica, and today we're taking a deep dive into the first step in creating any great piece of art, and that's choosing a reference photo. It'll set the mood and the tone and convey to your audience the message you want to present. It's important to take your own reference photos, organize them, and use them as a starting point and not an exact copy of what you're trying to create. Let's dive into some of my tips.
I always recommend using your own reference photos whenever possible. Not only does it make your work more personal and unique, but it also trains your eye to really see the world as an artist. I keep my phone on me all the time because I never know when something will catch my eye. Maybe it'll be the way the light hits the leaves on a tree or the texture of the trunk. Many of my favorite paintings actually start from photos I take totally by chance when interest is sparked. Once you start taking reference photos, they add up fast. That's why I like to keep mine organized in dedicated folders in my Photos app. I even split them into subcategories like animals, landscapes, still lives, and even by size. That way, when I'm ready to start a new piece, I'm not scrolling through thousands of random pictures. It becomes like a personal inspiration library that I can dip into at any time. So, what makes a good reference photo? Here's a few things I look for. First, we have angles. Don't just take one photo head on. Walk around the subject, crouch down, get higher up, and experiment. Think about the composition and what you want around your object. Does the background help or distract? Same with weighing out detail versus simplicity. Sometimes you want all the details, but other times a clean, simple reference is better. Next, we can consider the lighting. I personally love dramatic shadows, golden hour light, and refracting light on glass or water. But most importantly, take multiple shots. Trust me, your future self will thank you when you're painting and realize one photo didn't capture enough. Another tip is that you don't have to stick to just one photo. You can totally mix reference photos. Maybe you love the perspective from one photo but the subject in another. For example, I loved the way the gazebo was peeking through the trellis in this garden, but I didn't quite like the angle and how it was partially blocked. So I used the other photo I had from a different perspective. The key here is keeping your lighting consistent so everything feels like it belongs together. And this is where your creativity comes in. You're not copying reality, you're building your own version of it. And that brings me to my last point. Reference photos are just a starting point. They're a guide, not a rule book. I'll often compare my original reference to the finished piece, and you can see the differences. Maybe I shifted the colors, moved the objects around, or simplified the details. The photo helps ground you, but your imagination should take it further.
And that's it. Those are my tips on reference photos. If you haven't already, start snapping your own pictures, building up a library, categorize them, and just use them as a starting point for your creative endeavors. We all make artistic choices, and it's fun to see where a photo leads. Drop a comment of what you like taking photos of and painting, and I'll see you next time. Bye.